Welcome back, everyone. Man, we have been waiting patiently for this one, haven't we? After a bit of a dry spell, Apple just dropped the next major piece of the puzzle. Okay, let's dive into this comprehensive explainer of iOS 27 Beta 5. We are going to break down the whole shebang today, from the tiniest fit and finish UI tweaks to the absolute heavy-hitting bug fixes. We really need to figure out if this is finally the stable update early adopters have been waiting to install.
Right off the bat, we've got to talk about the sheer footprint of this update. If you're coming from Beta 4, this thing is massive. We're talking a whopping 18 gigabytes on the 17 Pro Max. Now sure, that relatively large size is going to depend on what version you're upgrading from, but wow, it is a hefty download. Under the hood, we're looking at a brand new build number, 24A5408D, along with updated modem firmware sitting at 2.10.01. And a new modem firmware update is always a really good sign for anyone chasing better connectivity. So here's how we're going to map out all these scattered updates today. 1. Welcome to Beta 5. 2. Visuals and UI tweaks. 3. Siri and search updates. 4. Bug fixes and polish. 5. Performance and battery. And 6. The road ahead. Let's jump right into Section 2. Visuals and UI tweaks. The fit and finish. We are looking at some crucial UI refinements here as we inch closer to the final release. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how totally dramatic some of these visual shifts are when you actually put them side by side. Just look at the app icons. Siri and Preview, they've gotten some pretty noticeable revamped redesigns compared to Beta 4. Safari and Settings got some subtle love too, but honestly, my absolute favorite tweak here is the new screenshot markup tool. You know how in the older betas, opening markup hijacked the whole bottom of your screen with this massive static panel? Well, in Beta 5, we get this incredibly sleek, compact floating menu. It even has a little grabber now. You can move it around or just shrink it off to the right side of your screen with this really fluid animation. It's a huge upgrade for usability. And the visual polish just keeps coming. Let's rattle through a bunch of these essential ecosystem refinements. Up in your status bar, those cell signal bars, they're slightly taller now and a little more rounded off. That change actually carries over to the control center toggle too. You'll also see larger battery icon text when you're charging, and iPad users rejoice. You finally get the percentage displayed right inside the battery icon, just like on the iPhone. Over in the clock app, your alarms are now heavily bolded, with the AM and PM matching the size of the time numbers. Also, for the super keen-eyed out there, your iOS version page now officially stamps exactly when you downloaded the software, literally saying installed today. Rounding it out, the Apple TV remote icon in the control center has a slick new silver tint, right alongside a brand new glyph for your orders in the Wallet app. Moving right along to Section 3, Siri and search updates, expanding customization. Apple has heavily overhauled how search behavior and Siri actually function in this build. If you jump into your search settings, you're going to find an entirely new section, literally called Before Searching. This dictates exactly what happens the second you swipe down on your home screen, giving you incredible control. Step 1, you can now adjust your suggested apps, show 4, bump it to 8, or just hide them completely if you want a clean look. Step 2, you'll notice the Show Recent Searches toggle has been relocated down into this new hierarchy. And Step 3, there's a brand new toggle to turn off Suggest app shortcuts entirely if you feel like they're just cluttering up your search interface. Oh, and a quick privacy bonus, the search engine preview that used to show you which engine was active, like Google, is completely removed from the search bar. Okay, pivoting over to Siri, things are getting seriously customized. And this brilliantly illustrates Apple's push toward better accessibility and personalization. Right from the jump, there's new initialization pop-up wording letting you know the update is in progress. But the absolute biggest news is buried in the voice settings. Remember how pace and expressivity customization used to be locked down to just a couple of voices? Well, in Beta 5, it is totally unlocked for all legacy voices. Even the British voices finally support pace customization. Also, the UI for picking American voices shifted from that thick frosted glass to a really slick liquid glass look. You'll notice they thoughtfully renamed spoken responses to preferred response type, offering spoken or silent options with updated descriptions. Finally, scroll down a bit and boom, a brand new toggle for automatic visual lookup is sitting right there in the settings. All right, on to Section 4, bug fixes and polish, squashing the issues. This is where that really long wait for Beta 5 finally pays off with a massive wave of under-the-hood bug squashing. So if you were running Beta 4, I guarantee you noticed this super confusing status bar bug. Your 5G or LTE text was just awkwardly displaying right alongside the Wi-Fi icon. Honestly, we weren't completely sure if it was a weird new feature or an error. Well, Beta 5 confirms it was definitely a bug. The fix is in, and it now accurately displays just your carrier and the Wi-Fi icon, completely getting rid of that messy cellular overlap.
They also resolved this hilarious but honestly super annoying bug over in Apple Music. In betas 1 through 4, if you rapidly swiped out of an album, the album art would do this weird visible jiggle. Well, that's officially fixed. It is rock solid now. More importantly, though, the release notes highlight some significant stability fixes for dictation, which had been misbehaving, and they've completely patched an issue where the Find My app was just totally broken for some users in beta 4.
Next up, Section 5, Performance and Battery, the data. Let's tackle the most critical question for all of us early adopters. How does this software actually run and impact battery life? To really anchor this narrative in some hard data, we ran some fresh Geekbench tests. Beta 5 pulled in a single-core score of 3584 and a multi-core score of 9652. Now, full disclosure, these tests were run while the device was still freshly indexing and running a little warm, but honestly, those numbers are rock solid and very much in line with previous strong runs. And from a purely functional standpoint, the UI just feels incredibly responsive.
That responsiveness points directly to this fantastic insight from the source material. Like we noted earlier, we are currently on a D build number. Now, in the beta world, as those letters get closer to A, that means we are getting super close to the final release. Being on a D build signals that we should expect Beta 5 to be significantly more stable. Because Apple took a long gap between updates, they've actually ironed out a ton of the underlying problems that cause random background battery drain. To put it simply, fewer background problems equals much longer battery life. It makes this build incredibly promising for daily use.
Finally, Section 6, the road ahead, release timeline. Let's wrap up this feature breakdown and map out the rest of the beta cycle. Let's move to our timeline and see how this builds our roadmap for the rest of the summer. Obviously, we've got the Beta 5 release in our hands today. And because we had to wait so long for this one, it's highly likely this is the very last long wait of the entire cycle. We're expecting Beta 6 to drop around August 17th, so next week, which officially signals the shift to a weekly release schedule. Apple's going to be sprinting from here on out, dropping weekly updates right up until the release candidate build, all culminating in the final public release of iOS 27 in the first half of September. Which leaves us with the ultimate question. If you've been sitting on the sidelines, is Beta 5 finally stable enough to pull the trigger and install? Well, considering the substantial bug fixes, all that beautiful UI polish, and the highly optimized battery life we get from this D build, yeah, I'd say this is absolutely our best jumping on point yet. But with just weeks left until the final release, it really makes you wonder, what crazy surprises does Apple still have hidden up its sleeve for September? Thanks for learning with me today, you guys. I'll catch you on the next explainer.